Hello, let's talk about wheat. Wheat will keep you hungry and gaining weight, especially as a woman over 50. It's going to keep you frustrated, it's going to sabotage you, and it is not something you want to eat. I got a question recently from somebody who asked me if they could still eat wheat on my holistic low carb diet. Well, the problem with focusing on weight gain is the problem with focusing on weight loss is if you are eating things that are going to cause you to be hungry, you will fail every time because it is a hormonal process. And the more that you actually eat foods that create hunger in your body, and wheat's the big one, that one's the big one. There's not a single functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner or naturopath or anybody who studies functional nutrition who's going to eat wheat. There's a reason for that. And I'm super excited to be here to tell you more about that. So, hello, I'm going to introduce myself, Lori Ballou, functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner. And I'm super excited to be able to come out here and share my pain to passion story from 225 pounds down to 125 pounds. And I'm kind of hanging out at 129 to 131 back and forth right now, depending on what I ate the day before. But that's easily gets down if I just want to, like today, I just ate one meal a day because I didn't have time to do 2 meals. And so when you do things like that, that's one of the tricks. You're just not hungry. And so when you take wheat, I'm pouring myself some coffee, some leftover coffee. When you take wheat out of your diet and your hunger goes away, simple as that. When you flip your sugar switch, you will get rid of your hunger. Part of the problem with weight loss is we cannot control our hunger. If we are hungry, we can't focus on dieting, and thus we're hungry and we gain weight because our sugar switch is turned on. And so this is what we want to focus on. We want to use food as medicine, because if you eat the wrong foods for your body, if the food that you're eating becomes a toxin, raises your insulin level, and causes your body to malfunction, little by little by little by little will build up and create that diabetes in your body. That is dysfunction. That is a malfunctioning metabolism. And wheat will take you on that pathway. And so I won't touch wheat. I'll cheat on sugar before I would ever cheat on wheat. I won't let wheat touch my lips voluntarily for that very reason, because it is so dangerous. One of the things that's really interesting is that gluten causes leaky gut in everyone. And Dr. Tom O'Brien has stated this. Many other doctors have stated this, but there's an interesting study. One of the things that they have done is actually studied veterans, because veterans being in the service have to get their blood taken every year. So if you go back and check their blood, you could see the changes in their blood on a year-to-year basis. And it can take, on average, 11 to 12 years to create an autoimmunity issue in the body because of wheat in the diet. So this has been proven, and this is something that they have shown as statistically relevant. And so with those odds, we don't really want to have wheat in our diet. So you could try keto with wheat left in your diet, because there's a lot of products out there that says there's still wheat gluten and they call them keto. I wouldn't touch them, because when you're starting to go on a low carb diet, really what you want to do is have success. You want weight loss. And so if you're eating foods that are going to raise your appetite, keep you hungry, keep that ghrelin in your stomach growling at you like a gremlin, you're going to fail. And that's why people try keto and they don't get on the right foods and they don't succeed, because there's a lot of minute details that somebody who's been through it knows, and somebody who's been educated on the process understands, and put all this together for you so that you can collapse that time and get the information correct the way you need to, because it's so empowering to know what exactly you need to eat. Because if you keep wheat in your diet on a low carb diet, it's going to keep you hungry. It's going to frustrate you. It's going to cause weight gain, not weight loss. And if you do lose a little bit of weight in the beginning, it's going to continue to keep your appetite in a high alert, and you're going to stay having leaky gut. And if you have leaky gut, you have inflammation. And if you're especially sensitive to wheat in your diet because of a food sensitivity, what that does and what it does to me, why I can't have it anyway, even if I didn't want it, is because it sets off a B cell antigen, a memory B cell antigen response of inflammation in your body for 6 months to a year, depending on you and your body. So every time you cheat and have a bite of wheat when you're on a diet, you are causing inflammation to happen in your body on a daily basis. That's why when people try to do a cheat day once a week and they bring in those foods that they're still addicted to because they taste good and make you feel good in the moment, that's why people fail diets, because of this process. And so to be successful, what you need to do is just take it out, because there's other things that we can eat. I know it sounds easy for me to say take it out because I've been there, done that. But that's why I know it works. The sooner you take it out and say sayonara to wheat, the better your body is going to be, and the faster you're going to get results for what your goals are. What is your goal? Write it down. Everybody right now, write it down and put it in the chat. I'm going to have a cup of tea or a cup of coffee in my teacup. So write it down, think about it, and giving up wheat in your diet so that you can have results. Like, what is your final goal? And be sure to download my Belly Fat Hacks mini course, Belly Fat Buster mini course, because there's a workbook in there that you can kind of go through, and you can listen to this stuff as well, and be aware of what you're doing and the action plans that you're having. And this live is on Instagram, but I am going to post it to LinkedIn as well as to YouTube. So if you guys are watching this in the future, just know that I have a workshop March 20th, tomorrow. And if it's past March 20th and you haven't joined or come, ask for the recording, because I'm going to have the workshop and I'm going to record it, and then I will have that available for everybody to see if you can't make it. And the workshop's on banishing cravings. And part of that banishing cravings is going to be on getting wheat out of your diet to control the hunger, because hunger is a hormonal process. We are designed to seek out food. And if we turn on the hormones to go get food, we will go search for that food and we will eat it. Have you ever been in the car and driven to some place to get the food you want to eat, or you felt impelled to go to more than one place to get in the car to go get food so that you could eat that because you're craving it? Those are food addictions that we all have. We've all done it. I've gone to, this place to get this food and that place to get that food so that I can manage my cravings before I gave them up. And I don't know about you, but did you ever kind of like, I'm just not even going to think about this. I'm just going to do it. The body is just yelling at you to go eat that thing, and you're going to do it. And so it shuts up, and so that you can get on with whatever it was you were doing. That's a lot of the times why we eat the foods we're addicted to. But just know that the food we are eating can program our body for the health that we want. I've just started listening to a new book that was really interesting. It's actually free on Audible. So I forgot the exact name of it, but if you would like that, text me here, or text me after I publish this recording, and I will send you the name of this book. But what he said that was really cool, because he was so sick and had to heal himself, he mentioned that not very many people choose health. And I thought that was really powerful to know that health is a choice, and that the things that we do in our environment and the foods we eat are keeping us sick. And there's so many good books out there that talk about that subject, because there's another one out there by, I think it's Ben Bikman, What Makes Us Sick. And the whole bottom of this is the insulin resistance is what keeps us sick. And that is the precursor to all the problems that we are going through: the hunger, the frustration, the mood swings, and the weight gain. Insulin resistance means your sugar switch is turned on. And when your sugar switch is turned on, you are in a fat gaining state. You will store fat. That's what your body's designed to do. Glucose can be a toxin in our body. And I think that was something that Professor Tim Noakes just mentioned from East Africa. He is the specialist. I don't know if he's a doctor a doctor, a professor, or both, but he's worked in the medical field. And one of the things is that he had diabetes, and changed his mind from high carbohydrates for running to low carbohydrate for running. And he even wrote the book on it and tore the book up because he had diabetes, and he reversed his diabetes or got it into remission because he took out the high carbohydrate foods and ate the fat, the protein, the way our body was designed. And so he actually started recommending that in South Africa. And he went to court for that for 4 years. They took him to court because of this situation that he was in. And it's a pretty sad situation when you can't say something like that and actually have to spend millions of dollars to protect yourself because of simple facts. And that's why we all want to be able to say and educate and empower other people with knowledge, because that's the way it works. I am studying this. You maybe have studied, like Tracy studies music. Hi, Tracy. And that's what he's really good at. And this is what I'm really good at, because I have the lived experience along with the education to come out here and empower you and educate you on the fact that if you're going to eat the wheat, you're going to have hunger, you're going to turn your body on for disease, and you're going to gain the weight, especially as a woman over 50. But everybody who eats wheat will have leaky gut. And if you have inflammation, insulin resistance, that is the precursor to the diabetes that you have turned on in your body. Because as long as you're overweight and as long as you're gaining weight, you are in a pre-diabetic state. I was. Everybody ends up in that stage unless they reverse it. You don't even have to be overweight. You just have to have visceral fat to be in this situation. And the visceral fat can be even in skinny people. And you could even take a look at people's faces and their necks. And if you have a lot of fat around your face and your neck, you could have a lot of visceral fat. And unfortunately, that visceral fat is also around your heart and around your major organs. And so part of the process of supporting our diet and lifestyle and health change is to reverse the insulin resistance, stop the visceral fat from growing and reverse it, and then get that fat under control to eat an anti-inflammatory diet. And that wheat is inflammatory, so we don't want to eat it. That's why we don't want to have it, and that's why I don't recommend it, especially in my holistic low-carb method, because you will not get a metabolic reset. My program gives you a metabolic reset so you can lose 20 to 40 pounds of weight gain in the first year, depending on your body and the interferences going on for your health. I've already got a client that's coming on 20 pounds, and she's only been with me for 2 weeks, and she already knows this is the lifestyle she's going to live for the rest of her life. And let me tell you why she said that. She has energy now. She took away the food she was sensitive to. They don't even smell good to her anymore. She doesn't even crave them anymore. She has less pain, more energy, and she doesn't have to lay around and be uncomfortable in her house. She could get outside and garden now and go for walks. How important is it to reclaim the second half of your life, or for the rest of your life if you're in your 30s and your 40s, and have your best life, living life as a health adventure, so that you could get out there and have an amazing time. And so when you get wheat out of your diet, that's what can happen. And sugar needs to go too, because that raises your insulin level, but it's the wheat that raises your appetite even more than sugar. It raises your insulin levels more than sugar does. I bet you didn't even know that. And so people sometimes think that you could switch to Ezekiel bread or breads that are less processed. However, wheat in all its forms is going to raise zonulin, and zonulin is a protein in your intestinal tract. So there's these tight junctions in your intestinal tract, and when they open and leak, things go in and out of your blood system and can cause autoimmunity over time. They cause inflammation. And so if you're eating foods you're sensitive to on a daily basis, like wheat, and dairy can interfere with this, and even corn, these are wide open on a regular basis, causing IBS symptoms, inflammation, and pain in your body. That's what causes the pain. When I took it out, that is when I could start my healing journey. I had to take it out before I could turn my brain back on and get healthy. And one of my clients, Pia, she actually, every time she eats wheat, she gets arthritis again. And so that is big. When you know what causes your inflammation and pain in your body, you will not go back to eating the way you did before. And so that's why working with somebody who can empower you, instill a bulletproof mindset, and give you radical accountability and my lived experience, so that you get 100% implementation for a holistic low carb method to change your life, that's priceless. Because That's what happens. This implementation of a holistic low-carb diet with my lived experience equals successful results. It's so cool, isn't it? And I don't say that lightly. I say that with conviction because I see it left and right. I see my clients' smiles come back. I see them say, I'm never going to eat that crap again. And when they get to the point where their diseases are in remission or their symptoms are gone, that's the magic of food as medicine for your body. And one of the tests that I run to help us find the information that helps you get to that result, to see those results in your body. And when you see these results in black and white, that gives you more power to really see what's going on. Because the more you see something, that's like 60% more availability of your brain to understand what's happening when you can see it in black and white. And so when you see a food sensitivity test with inflammation on wheat and dairy in your diet, then you kind of know, this is what's going on in your body. This is why you're in pain. This is why you're having so much trouble. This is why you're overweight. This is why you can't lose the weight. That's so powerful. So when you actually focus on that and take them out, that's when you stop the inflammation, stop the pain, and start losing the weight. Also, when you run the GI map test, what we're looking for in a GI map test is that zonulin elevated? Is your gliadin elevated? And is your secretory IgA, secretory IgA, is kind of a mouthful, is if that's elevated, then your immune system is on alert. If it is suppressed, then your body is not able to mount an attack in your body. And so you want to know one way or the other what that's doing. And with the GI map test as information to get clarity as to what's going on in your gut, that's the power of knowing if you're going in the right direction and what you can do and collapse the time faster. Because when we run that test, we can see how your body's reacting to wheat, what your digestion's doing, what your bacteria is doing, and then start to correct everything. And if you've got the parasites too, we can figure that out and start to attack that. And so this is information that I get with the GI map test. But basically, if that test, this is what is really powerful, that test for the gliadin protein in wheat. And you could even add on a zonulin marker to see how much you're reacting to zonulin. But I also run another test that checks for zonulin as well. So there's a double testing. And the reason why functional diagnostic nutrition practitioners use and practitioners across the board use a GI map test is because we are checking first and foremost to see if you are sensitive to wheat and if that is causing inflammation in your diet, so that we can help you reset your health, rebuild your health. And wheat has to come off to do that. So yes, that question that somebody asked me, could I still eat wheat on a low-carb diet? I would say you could eat it, but you're not going to get results. And if you eat it and raise your appetite and get frustrated, you're going to say a low-carb diet doesn't work for you, that you never got healthy. And so if you want results, I wouldn't put wheat in your diet. I would keep it out, because you still want to look at food as medicine. If the food that you're eating is inflaming your body, it is more of a toxin and a poison to you specifically, and you shouldn't eat it. Now, if everybody is reacting to wheat and is getting leaky gut, why is it available to eat? Why is it out there as a nutritional food to eat? It's because it's available and it's recommended and it's cheap. It's cheap food to feed the populace. And when we started the agricultural age, it was easy to eat things like that because you can get it in more abundance. But it's been overly processed, and there's no longer any nutrients in it, and it causes problems. And another problem with the wheat in the diet that you probably wouldn't know unless you talk to somebody like me, is when you're eating bakery goods outside that are purchased and you didn't buy it without the bromide in it, you're getting bromide poisoning in your food. And when you're buying wheat that's been grown in the United States, they're spraying it with glyphosate poisoning when they plant it, and then they put it on twice when they harvest it. They spray it down to kill it faster so that it can actually be cut sooner. And it is a hybridized wheat mostly, and it's just not easy to digest, and it messes up everybody's gut and causes leaky gut in everybody. And so it is no longer a health food. If it was a health food when there was no food available during starvation, then it was something that kept people from starving. Yes, it can keep you from starving, and it can fill up your stomach, but it will never give you the nutrients you need to have to thrive. And so those people who are living up to 100 years old and past, they probably have never really eaten wheat. And if they eat more whole foods and not processed foods. And so the more processed foods you eat that have wheat, gluten in it, and sugar in it, the more you are going to damage your immune system and create the inflammation that's going to shorten your lifespan. And so that is why most practitioners will not recommend that you eat any wheat, because you need to reset your metabolism. And you cannot do that if you're eating something that's going to raise your insulin levels and cause your body to have leaky gut. And so that is part of that process. It's a very interesting reason. And then the other side of that, again, is the core issue of why we get sick, which is the insulin resistance. If wheat is going to increase your insulin resistance, and it does in everybody, and it creates that hunger in your body and creates the memory cell antigen in your body, then you are in an inflamed state, and you're going to stay sick, and you're going to continue to progress towards disease in your body, which is the diabetes, and eventually the Alzheimer's, which is stage 3 diabetes. All of those are lifestyle diseases by environmental factors. They are completely unavoidable and reversible, and you can put it into remission. There's many stories of people who have done low carb diets and have had remission from whatever symptoms and problems that they had. And so we just need to be aware that that is possible, and that when we choose health, we can get those results because we want it. We want to reclaim our lives and age gracefully. That's what's one of my calls that I was on today. She wants to age gracefully, don't we? We all want to feel good in our body and feel beautiful and not feel bloated and overweight. And when we stop eating the wheat, that's when we don't feel bloated and overweight anymore. It's so powerful. But there's also a lot of, there's a lot of minute details. Like I was just going over 2 metabolic analysis for my clients and looking at their symptoms to see what's going on in their body. And as a health detective with FDN, that's what I do. I go over that, I analyze it, and I'm like, okay, this has happened in the endocrine section or the neurological section, or this could be the detox capacity, or it could be what was the other ones, the icosanoid modulation. So like, where are the symptoms coming from? And with that information, I then know how to support my clients more thoroughly and ask the questions of like, what's going on in your body? And this is why we are actually going to, this is the direction that we are going to go in. Because I have one client that needs to be on a higher fat keto diet because of the symptoms that she has and the condition that she wants to treat. And so all of those things are going to be very customized and personalized per each person. But everybody's going to get a GI map test. And one of the things that I'm going to do next month is in April, I'm going to have another workshop. I don't have the date yet. And it's going to be the Slender Forever series on why should we live gluten-free. So like gluten-free forever. I had a sugar-free forever lifestyle. And this one is going to be on a gluten-free lifestyle, because I want you guys to realize and understand that as food can be your medicine or it can be your poison, and food is information to your body, and what food do you want to put in your body. So weight loss requires putting out the fire in your body. So if you have inflammation and pain, you have a fire going on in your body. And that food that you're eating and your environment, you could be living in a moldy home. Your environment is causing this, and you're going to get a more autoimmune conditions. And you don't just get one autoimmune condition, you get multiple ones, because your body is a low immune system. And with leaky gut, you can get more than one autoimmune problem. And the body considers gluten like a bacteria, like a toxin. And so it's going to open up those junctions and try to flush it out of your body. And so this is why it keeps zonulin open at all times. And so if you're sensitive to gluten, you're going to have intestinal barrier problems. You're going to have that leaky gut. And so that's the biggest thing. That's what we want to focus on. And that's what I'm going to go over next month with the workshop, because 70 to 80% of your immune system is in the gut, and you have a direct gut to brain connection. And Dr. Tom O'Brien was saying that there may be one synopsis or one process coming down from the brain, one piece of information, and yet you're getting 6 to 8 informations back to the brain with this direct connection. There's more stuff, more communication coming out of the gut going to the brain than there is coming down from the brain to the gut. And that's why you get neurological problems, because of what's going on in your gut. And so that's how there's that connection to inflammation in your gut to your brain. So if you've got depression, that is a direct connection from what you eat in your gut to your brain, and also how you're living your lifestyle. And there's a lot of things there that you can support, because I turned around my depression, and if I don't get enough sunlight, I'm going to have more of that situation. But I already took out the foods that caused myself to have more depression. And if you have inflammation, that's something that you can correct by correcting your gut, but you can't correct your gut or any of these problems while you're eating the wheat. That's why it's critical. And it is a funny story. It's like when I went to Florida for a mastermind, and we had a retreat, and we went out to dinner one night, and it was really funny because we all sat around this one round table, but the waitress was under orders, or she was informed that we were all gluten and dairy free. I just thought that was funny, because it, if you take any functional diagnostic nutrition practitioners out to lunch, you're going to get, we're gluten and dairy free. But put us all together, and it's kind of a funny situation, but she did a really good job. And so I hope that was interesting. Does anybody have any questions that I could answer right now? And don't forget, I do have my workshop tomorrow, and it is in my links. I can also send you over, I didn't realize more people have come on. I can send you over the link if you DM me directly, or when I post this, I will probably post it in my stories. Again, this is on Instagram. If you're in YouTube, you will need to come to Instagram at Lori Ballou Weight Loss. Connect with me. It's going to be in the pinned comments. So just come and follow me here. DM me. Let me know you're from YouTube. If you're from YouTube, if you have a question, I answer questions. I'm going to also answer questions. I didn't realize how many people had joined me. I'm also going to answer questions on my workshop tomorrow. On banishing cravings. When you banish your cravings, that's one of the very first steps that we need to do to get our diet under control, to get our lifestyle under control, because we have to banish the cravings. We have to stop the wheat, because the wheat causes us to be hungry. And Tracy is asking, his question is, has this always been the case with wheat? Wheat has been hybridized in the United States, so it's worse. If you go to Italy, so far the wheat is cleaner. People don't react to wheat as much because they don't put the glyphosate poisoning in the wheat in Italy. And they don't have the hybridized wheat in Italy. However, humans have always reacted to wheat, and we have always had diabetes. We just have an epidemic of diabetes now because there's so much wheat in the diet, and you're told to eat carbohydrates in excess to the point where your insulin levels are turned on so high that your body cannot tolerate this. That glucose is a poison in your body. It's a toxin, per Dr. Tim Noakes, Professor Noakes, and he was just stating that it is a toxin in our body, and that's why your body will burn through it as fast and try to get it out of your body, because it's too much insulin in your blood, causing hyperinsulinemia, and your body can't allow that, because you will get sick. Your body is a really good machine, and it's trying to keep us in homeostasis, but it cannot do that if you have a lot of glucose in your blood. So it will shift it into LDL and make triglycerides, and it will shunt it off to your fat cells and store it for you, and it's going to do this all day long and get rid of it. So as long as you're eating sugar, fruit, anything that's raising your carbohydrates, all that glucose, all the wheat, the pasta, the pizzas, turns into glucose and becomes overloads your blood system, and your body has to store that as fat. So if you think that you're going to lose the weight because you're eating a high carb, low fat diet, it will not work. I've done that, been there, done that, and it does not work. You will lose some weight, but you will gain back all in fat. So wheat has always been a problem for the human race. It is a starvation food. It is not a food that people eat when they want to have longevity or when they want to have good health. And so I don't know was it what, the 1950s? People weren't sick and unhealthy before the 1950s, because what ended up happening was they started changing our food system by adding in vegetable oils, increasing sugar consumption, lowering the natural fats, and telling you to eat vegetable oils in your diet. And if you look at pictures before 1950, nobody was overweight, everybody was healthy, and there was no such thing as people, kids in my age, and we were just talking with this of somebody, there was no such thing as autism when I was a child. There were very, very few rates of autism when I was a child. And that is something that is growing. And I heard 1 in 3, but I recently heard it's going to be 1 in 2. And so I wouldn't be surprised if AI has to actually run our world, because there's not going to be any children with any brain function that are going to be able to manage our health, our lifestyle, our government. I mean, well, I don't know what they're planning on doing if they just want everybody to be sick, because you cannot tell everybody to eat the food they're eating. And we're getting children, 1 out of 2, sick with autism, because their brains can't function, because they've taken out the food, they've damaged the food system that you guys are being told to eat. So yes, wheat has changed. Oh, hello, Joanne. It is awesome. It is in the growing practices as well as in the soil. Exactly. And the thing is, if wheat is going to cause everybody's intestines to leak, and if you're going to have leaky gut and a leaky brain because of it, you're never going to thrive on eating too much wheat in the diet. We have to change our food system, eat more animal protein, and balance our carbohydrates minimally. I mean, I've heard if you could get your carbohydrates under 100, that's what you want to focus on. You never go over 50 carbs in one meal. And if you're drinking liquid, sugars and carbohydrates, that's what's going to poison your body even more. You cannot have the liquid drinks, not the sugars, the teas, the sodas. That's pure poison to our body. And if you're drinking alcohol on a daily basis, you cannot detoxify. It's a toxin to the brain and the body. And they've come out with studies that says there is no amount of alcohol that is healthy for the human body. It is a toxin. And it turns to sugar, and your liver will drop everything it has to do to actually detoxify all of that in your body. And so that's why I'm coming here to tell you guys all about this, because one person asked me, can they eat wheat on a holistic low carb diet or on a low carb diet? And I will never recommend anybody eat that. And if you want to come into my program, it is a sugar-free, grain-free, wheat-free diet and an alcohol-free diet. Alcohol, if you're going to go out on a wedding and celebrate, or go out somewhere and celebrate, alcohol once in a while is fine. But there's some tricks that you could do, but you want to get off the wheat and the sugar to have the success so that you're not frustrated. Who wants to live with frustration? Who wants to wake up every day and worry about what we're going to eat? I don't have to worry about what I'm going to eat, because I just eat bacon and eggs every day and I'm perfectly content. But you could be sensitive to eggs. You could be sensitive to egg whites. You don't know. And you could be sensitive to beef, and you don't know. And you could be sensitive to collagen or apple cider vinegar. And I recommend all these foods to everybody, but you could be sensitive per your food sensitivity test to these things. And so that's why we want to test and not guess, and get that clarity we need. And when you run that GI map test to find out what's going on in your gut with the zonulin levels, your immune system, and how you're reacting to zonulin, that's powerful information, so that you can see this in black and white. And that's 60% of that. When your brain sees something written down in black and white like that, you're like, I'm on this. One of my clients, the one who put his diabetes into remission, is off all medication, is no longer diabetic when he goes into his doctor. He does not have any symptoms of diabetes. He took that food sensitivity test and that information from his gut test, and he ran with it. He got clarity, and he's like, now I know exactly what I need to eat. I'm going to eat everything in the green. And that's what he did. That was empowerment. And so it is super powerful to be able to know that we have this, that we can do this. And you are welcome, Tracy. I'm so glad that you are understanding this more. There is no amount of wheat that you could eat that's going to be healthy for your body, for anybody. And I was just even listening to, or just watched a posted story. I don't remember the name of this gentleman that was healthy, went on a vegan diet, as unhealthy, lost a lot of weight. His family talked him into going into vegetarian instead of vegan. So he was at least getting more nutrition, and he gained 10 pounds of weight back that he needed to be healthy. And so when you are on a health rebuilding program like mine, my holistic low carb method is not about being skinny. It's about getting healthy to lose weight naturally and sustainably, to get your body to maintain muscle mass and bone mass as you age, especially for women over 50. But basically, this is information that works for everybody. But it is so powerful because you can choose health. I really love the book I stumbled on, and it's free on Audible, and it's just about his journey. I haven't listened to the whole thing. I don't know if he's recommending, I take all information and go with it and plug more pieces of information into my brain, and then I pluck them out and give them to you guys. And that's basically how I work. I love collecting information and figuring out what each person needs based on conversation, metabolic analysis, and your symptomology, and what your test results will show us, so that I can build a program for you, a personalized, customized nutrition plan and protocol based on what your needs are. And then 100% implementation is the most powerful thing you can get, because you can go on AI and look for this information. You can go in there and try to search for this information if you know where to go to search for it, because if you just search on Google, it'll send you to the medical sites. Do not listen to the medical sites. You need to go to you just type in functional health, look for Dr. Mark Hyman, Dr. Jockers, Dr. Axe. Look for someone who is in functional health and nutrition, and read their stuff. Do not read from the medical place. You can get studies that you could look at, but remember, you got to follow the money. Has that study been paid for by somebody who wanted to prove a specific thing? Now, I recently remember hearing something say about the reason there are no studies really based on, not a lot of studies based on what is healthy for the human body, is because they're trying to prove something else. And they don't want to prove specific things like, is keto healthy for the body? They don't want to prove that. They want you to be going in the other direction and stay sick and stay in the medical system, because it's a for-profit situation. And that money that they make goes towards those corporations. And so did you know that the Coca-Cola company has lobbyists to support businesses that do studies to prove that sugar is healthy for your body? They do. It's so outrageous, but that's the life and the world that we are living in. And that is one of the reasons why autism is going down to 1 in 2. And that's why I guess AI is going to be running our country in the next 50 years, because there isn't going to be anybody with brain power able to actually, and unless there's, and except the people who are isolated, eating their protein and being raised correctly. And it's going to be an interesting process. I'll be alive for the next 30 years, is God willing, and I don't get hit by a bus or in a car accident and something. But for the most part, the diet that I'm eating supports my health, and it's just keeping ourselves as healthy and as best we can, and following environmental health. Like, we have to reduce our toxins. We have to keep our toxic load low, and we need to kind of test and guess, not guess, as to what we need to focus on. So I'm working with somebody who is already keto carnivore, but she needs a specific guidance in my implementation and all of my knowledge as FDN and the labs to fine-tune everything she's doing and to support her specific symptomology, so she gets resolution and weight loss. And so it's never just about weight loss. It's what health do you want to correct? Where do you need to rebuild your body? And get your body healthy to lose the weight. And getting rid of the wheat, we're back to that again. Getting rid of the wheat is going to bring your health back, so that you could focus on losing the weight for good. And don't worry about getting on a plateau. If you reach a plateau, just give your body time to heal. This is natural, sustainable weight loss. And you need to, if you're keeping the weight off, you're being successful. And then you just continue to dial in a holistic lifestyle and just keep searching for your solution. That's what I did. My program is a weight loss and diabetes solution. And it is one that is going to help you rebuild your life and reclaim your life, so that you could live with less risk of disease. So like somebody was talking about, or there's this analogy, like you're standing on the precipice of a cliff and you just don't know if you're going to fall off. Like, every day you wake up, how much closer to that cliff are you coming? And what if that cliff crumbled underneath your feet, even if you didn't get really next to the edge? But what if you had this road in front of you and there is this pathway, and you just don't know which direction to go? But what if you can turn away from the one at the cliff and go back inland and continue to live your life and know exactly what you need to do to get there, and how you can live your best life, feeling amazing and beautiful and comfortable in your body? That's what this is about. That's what my holistic low-carb diet will help you with. And so we want to not eat the wheat. And so go gluten-free. If you do one thing this month, this week, join my workshop tomorrow, banish your cravings, and go gluten-free. And don't add in all the rice breads. Go to keto bread without any wheat gluten. The unbun bread, Siete has some tortillas, and there's unbun and base culture. Those are the two breads I recommend. You need to read the label. No wheat gluten in any of your keto breads. And you cannot just eat gluten-free bread because they're going to raise your insulin levels, because they are designed with too much starch. And so they raise your insulin levels. So starch raises your insulin level. You got to remember, it all turns to glucose in your blood. And if there is no fiber and it's releasing very rapidly, you're going to have a rapid increase in your glucose in your blood. And so that's the whole idea, is to correct insulin resistance and not eat the foods that are causing your body to create an insulin load on your body, and because it's a toxin in our blood system. So, okay, guys, you've got this. If you need to leave me any questions or ask any questions or leave any comments, just let me know. And thank you for following, Shireen. I appreciate you. And yeah, Tracy, DM me if you have any information or need any more information or want to jump on a call. I know I am focusing on women over 50, but I love helping everybody. So that's my message specifically, but I'm here to help you guys all. And so I'm so excited to have that workshop tomorrow. So please join me. If you missed the workshop, which is the 20th of March, I am having another one in April, so I'm going to keep up the same post. Sign up. I will notify you. Get on my email list. I'm always going to keep you posted. And let's banish those cravings. Let's lower our insulin response. Let's choose health. Health is your wealth. You guys have got this. All right. I'll talk to you soon.